Hey guys, I'm Death Beach, and this is the future of the music industry. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Now, I'm sure you guys have been seeing me talk about this on Instagram and maybe in some other places, but we're going to really dive into some definitions today. So here we can see what we're going to be talking about. Blockchain in the music industry. Look when this article came out. Look at it. October 2nd, 2020. We are way ahead of the curve right now, okay? So first though, we're gonna ratchet down some definitions, okay? And we need to talk about what a smart contract is, what cryptography is, how the blockchain works, and then ultimately what this has to do with music and music technology and how we're gonna be getting paid and how we can develop better relationships with our fans and build community with one another and our fan bases. So, what is a smart contract? Whoops, sorry, I think we need to go up here. Okay, so a smart contract is similar to a contract in the physical world, but it's digital and is represented by a tiny computer program stored inside a blockchain. More specifically, a smart contract is a piece of software that stores rules for negotiating the terms of an agreement, automatically verifies fulfillment, and then executes the agreed terms. What this is saying is just like a basic deal between two people, between a person and a company, anything like that. The outline for the agreement is just written into the code of this thing. And ultimately what that means is there's not a third party deciding anything, okay? So if you're dealing with Spotify, Spotify ultimately gets to make the decision. If you make an agreement with Spotify that I'm uploading my music to you and every time it gets streamed, you're gonna pay me, and there's a system in place that just does that and isn't biased and isn't some guy at Spotify that's realizing, hey, we owe a lot of money to Warner, we need to pay Warner, and then they start funneling a bunch of money over there, or we need to do something to show our investors what's happening, and then they start doing weird stuff with money. This is all eliminated. So what's the main idea of a smart contract? Since a smart contract removes reliance on a third party when establishing business relations, the parties making an agreement can transact directly with each other, and then we'd have to do it without fear. We don't even have to trust each other. We just have to trust the smart contract, which is 100% going to work. Down here, we got a little bit more. So why trust a smart contract, right? Smart contracts are designed and implemented within blockchains, and therefore they inherit some of the blockchain's properties. Things like they're immutable, which means a smart contract can never be changed and no one can tamper with or break a contract. So let's think about this for a second. Let's say you have a kid and you want to bribe him to get good grades. So you say, hey Johnny, if you get straight A's through high school, I'm going to give you $5,000. You put this into a smart contract. Now, let's say Johnny were to upset you. He crashes your car junior year, okay? And you want to withhold this money from him because you decide you don't like him and you want to disown him. Well, because this is in place, you can't do that. You agreed that you would give Johnny the $5,000 if he got straight A's. So if he continues on to get straight A's, he'll get that money. So this is a way of really protecting each other and ourselves from each other and from ourselves, right? So what else about a smart contract and why you should trust it? They're distributed, which means that the outcome of the contract is validated by everyone in the network. Just like any transaction on a blockchain, distribution makes it possible for an attacker to force control to release funds, as all other participants would detect such an attempt and mark it as invalid. So basically what this means is that if all the information is stored in one place, it's very easy for a hacker to attack that one place and get information or manipulate information. The way the blockchain works is that this information is distributed globally, all around the world, to what are basically called nodes. The ledgers live on the nodes, and the nodes have to be in agreement, or what we call consensus, for the transactions to go through. If somebody manipulates a transaction on one node, all the other nodes will now be in disagreement with it, and we can now look at that and see exactly what's going on almost in real time. Okay, so moving on now, distributed ledgers. So a ledger, we're just inputting information. That's all a ledger is. Now, if you think about Bitcoin, which is the biggest use case for blockchain currently out there that everybody knows about, it has to do with finances, and basically it's just transactions on the ledger. In the case of being a musician, streaming music, it would be, you know, this song was streamed on this date and this much was paid out. Next transaction or next line in the ledger, boom. So a distributed ledger. A distributed ledger stands in contrast to a centralized ledger, which is the type of ledger that most companies use. A centralized ledger is more prone to cyber attacks and fraud, as it is a single point of failure. Underlying distributed ledgers is the same technology that is used by blockchain, which is the technology that is used by Bitcoin. Blockchain is a type of distributed ledger used by Bitcoin. So, boom, basically everything I just said, but you just have it kind of verified here in an article. Distributed ledgers, if you want to read about it more, this is a rather lengthy article explaining it, different use cases, things like that. Some garbage at the bottom. So let's talk about cryptography and blockchain, though, very briefly. Blockchains rely heavily on cryptography to achieve their data security. In this context, the so-called cryptographic hashing functions are of fundamental importance. All nerd talk, don't worry. Hashing is a process whereby an algorithm, hash function, receives an input of data of any size and returns an output, hash, that contains a predictable and fixed size or length. Okay, so what this means is that the information inside the block is just basically encrypted, and it is encrypted heavily. Now, again, what does this all have to do with us and music? So we're just going to roll through this article. I have found so many articles on this, and I can't wait to share them all with you and break them all down. But basically, you can see here, he's going to talk about the NFT tokens or the non-fungible tokens. What is fungible versus non-fungible? Fungible is like, think of a dollar bill. Any dollar bill is a dollar bill. It has the value of the dollar bill. It's not unique in any sort of way. Non-fungible means that there's a unique item and it is worth a certain amount, and it is not directly tradable with an exact copy of itself. You know, you can say, hey, this is a limited run of 10, and the NFTs all know that there's only 10 of them. But yeah, they're just more unique than a fungible. So like Bitcoin are fungible tokens. NFTs get to be unique things like your merch, stuff like that. So this article, if you look it up, it's by Ivan on Tech. Fantastic YouTube channel. Again, October 2nd, 2020. We are so ahead of the curve. So he talks about what blockchain technology is. He goes into a little bit more about what NFTs are. I don't want to bog us down with, we've already done enough technical. Really hard to counterfeit stuff, but basically we want to get down here. You might have seen me post this. Programmable art. Programmable art. Boom, here, boom. Okay, programmable art is taking digital art to the next level. Async art, which is just a website, allows anyone to create, collect, and trade programmable art on the blockchain. Digital artworks are split into layers, which are tokenized separately, available to multiple buyers. Think of this like the visualizer I've been talking about. You know, you have like a little visualizer or an artwork or something like that. You can split the background and the foreground and maybe other elements of it into different things that can be tokenized, okay, and sold or auctioned or given out to fans, however you want to do it. The tokenized layers of artwork are programmable to changes and adjustments with different variables. Artwork can correlate responsively to programmed external variables such as weather forecasts or the price of ETH. ETH is just a cryptocurrency, is a token. So if the price of it is up, you could program it that whenever the price of ETH is up, the background changes green. Whenever it's down, it changes red. Other things that we could do, okay, is say anytime an artist goes live, the background changes or the foreground changes or anything. We can even set it up so that the owner of the token, so the fan, could get to decide if they want to change the background or not. So maybe you could give them like two colors. The background could be green, the background could be blue, whatever. But here, this little picture that's here, it's just showing you the different layers of the Mona Lisa, this type of Mona Lisa, the different layers that could be tokenized and given out. And you could have the background be sunny weather or rainy weather, depending on the actual temperature outside, locally to where you, the owner of the background, live. Think of how amazing that is, okay? And the actual artwork itself could live on your website as the only place to go and view it. Your website on the blockchain is the only place to go and view it. And these people can change, your fans can change the background or different aspects of this visualizer that everybody can go and look at. They can also do way more, and we're going to get there in just a second. Or they get way more benefits. We'll get there in just a second. So let's talk about digital copyrights. One of the most difficult parts of success for music artists in this day and age is being paid when your song is played or streamed, right? So this just goes on to talk about how it can take, this in royalty payments here, it can take 3, 6, 9 months to a year for you to begin to see royalty payments, okay? So it takes time for those to build up and come in, and they're constantly coming in over time. With what's going to happen here with technology is, again, as it's streamed, you're just getting paid, or whoever is supposed to be getting paid will be getting paid. Like whenever you sign up for teams through DistroKid, everybody on that team, boom, they're all just going to be getting their cut right away. This better enables you to invest further into your career. So with the introduction, highlight this here for us. I should have highlighted this page too. With the introduction of blockchain in the music industry, artists releasing music on the blockchain will be paid per stream through cryptographically secure, immutable smart contracts. It's everything we've been talking about. The blockchain is a transparent ledger showing every transaction, movement, and stream of a song. On public blockchains, both artists and fans can view where and when a song has been played. Think of how powerful that is. Okay, so let's see, what else? Again, royalty payments will be coming out. So let's look at distribution, and whenever we're talking about centralized, decentralized, this right here, in a centralized system, there's a center point through which everything gets paid out or comes out of. In a decentralized network, there are these little individual nodes that then branch out. And look how much closer each node is to one of these little kind of like satellites as opposed to the centralized system. And then look how much easier it is to distribute whenever it's set up like this. This is what we're talking about. Okay, so tokenized merchandise. So basically, you'll be able to like sell t-shirts on your website, and you can tokenize them, and then whenever the owner gets it, they'll also receive a token into their digital wallet, where they'll be able to show authenticity of that shirt, that it's not a shirt that they bought on the black market or anything like that. Maybe you signed it. It can help verify the signature that's on it. NFTs will be used for concert tickets. Again, each seat is unique at a venue, so boom. Programmable perks for fans. This is like the whole talk right now. I've just been dying to get to this, okay? Programmable perks for fans. Blockchain in the music industry will allow a closer relationship between artists and their fans. We've been talking about this. Okay, go on. Blockchain offers artists the opportunity to give fans limited edition, secret unlockable files pegged to NFTs that can be programmed to be unlocked after, say, X amount of streams or other artist interactions. So maybe an artist could say, hey, on the 18th, I'm going live, And whenever I go live, the secret songs will be unlocked. You could even do this. Let's say you sell 10 layers of a visualizer. And each one of those visualizers, okay, that the fans get, 10 fans, have locked files that could be remixes of the song that plays with the visualizer. Each fan gets their own remix. Okay, now you're probably wondering, like, what's to stop them from uploading it and all this stuff? If you're worried about that, you don't understand digital ownership and you don't fully understand what's coming. However, I do think that there's going to be a lot more security in being able to rip songs on the blockchain. Meaning, if your music's on your website and your website's on a blockchain, and say Spotify's on a blockchain, and there's a new video service that's not YouTube and it's on a blockchain, or YouTube goes on a blockchain, whatever, the likelihood of it getting ripped is going to become significantly less, first off. Secondly, these are going to be authenticized as being the original file that came with the visualizer. I know it's difficult to wrap your head around, but this is absolutely the direction everything's going in. And if you don't know about this, just look at video games and the direction that they're heading in. Talk to kids, talk to them about what they want inside of video games. And once video games get onto the blockchain, items like a sword or a magic potion or whatever will be transferable from game to game. I don't know. The future looks really crazy to me. I hope that all this was just as fascinating to you as it is to me. And there's so much more, so many more articles, so much more I want to talk to you guys about. So if you like this, go ahead and, actually hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe, do all those things. And I can't wait to talk to you next time. Thanks.